Congressional leaders have hammered out a new stimulus package that lawmakers could approve as soon as Monday, and that includes another Paycheck Protection Program loan for small businesses. While the full text of the legislation has not been released at the time of this article, House Republicans on the Small Business Committee have unveiled details on who might qualify for the new PPP loans and details on what expenses could be forgiven. The Progressive Caucus Center also released details on the proposals, although it is possible that some of the details could change in the final text of the legislation or before Congress votes on the package and sends it to President Trump for his signature. The initial round of the Small Business Administration's Forgivable Loan Program ultimately doled out $522 billion to about 5.2 million businesses between April and August 8, when it expired. A full rundown of which small business provisions are included in the deal so far is here. The new PPP loan provisions provide for a second loan for small businesses with less than 300 employees with a revenue reduction of at least 25% in the first, second or third quarter of 2020 relative to the same quarter in 2019. A maximum second loan amount of $2 million for most businesses at 2.5 times their average monthly payroll costs, although some food service and accommodations businesses could see more, as their maximum equals 3.5 times their monthly payroll costs. Creation of a simplified loan forgiveness application form consisting of a one-page certification that requires the small business to list the loan amount, the number of employees retained and the estimated total spent on payroll costs. Forgiveness for small businesses if they spend at least 60% of their PPP second draw loan on payroll costs during the covered period. Expansion of covered expenses to include software, cloud computing resources, and human resources and accounting needs, as well as property damage costs due to public disturbances that were not covered by insurance, supplier costs and the purchase of personal protective equipment. Expansion of eligibility to include 501(c)(6) nonprofits, such as local chambers of commerce, as well as destination marketing organizations, housing cooperatives, newspapers, broadcasters and radio stations. Repeal of a previous CARES Act provision that required small businesses to deduct any economic injury disaster loans from PPP loan forgiveness. An override of an IRS ruling that barred small businesses from deducting from their taxes expenses paid for with PPP loans. Prohibition on publicly traded companies accessing the PPP. Entities affiliated with the Chinese government are also ineligible. The creation of a farmer and rancher calculation for PPP loans, as well as codifying rules for faith-based organizations and churches to maintain their eligibility. In the program, PPP loan borrowers to choose 2 covered periods, an 8-week covered period or a 24-week covered period, in which to spend the loan proceeds. Voluntary release of demographic information for loans. However, the SBA is mandated to include a demographic questionnaire in the loan origination application. Clarification that group insurance payments count as payroll costs, including group life, disability, vision and detail insurance. Ineligibility for businesses that receive a grant under a separate, $15 billion program for venues. A reapplication option for the PPP maximum for any business that returned all or part of their PPP loan so long as they have not received forgiveness yet. And any borrower that would have gotten a larger loan under the new legislation can reapply for the difference. Sarah Crozier, Communications Director at the small business group Main Street Alliance, said the new PPP loan and small business provisions in the stimulus package can help businesses in the short term, but much more assistance is needed. Ultimately, this relief package is just a bridge that is needed until we get into the new year, Crozier said, adding that state and local funding, which is not provided in the current deal being hashed out by Congress, is needed to provide small businesses with the infrastructure and services that will help them thrive. 10 weeks of payroll is not going to make up for 20 weeks of lost revenue, Crozier said. Like, share and subscribe my channel.